Hey there everybody, Adam Cleary from FourFourTwo here, and do you know what? I don't mind saying it. David Raya going to Arsenal is the weirdest goalkeeping transfer I have seen since Aaron Ramsdale going to Arsenal. But I mean, the thing is, while everyone was a little bit sniffy about that one at the time, it ultimately proved to be a great bit of business. Ramsdale's been fantastic for Arsenal since he's been there. So the question is obviously, why the hell would you go out and get David Raya? The thing is, right, by peering into the numbers and also deep into the brain of Mikel Arteta, there are some good answers there. So let's have a little look at them. Alright, so first, what does David Raya actually give you that Aaron Ramsdale doesn't? So Rambo, and do people call him that? Was that Aaron Ramsey? Anyway, Aaron Ramsdale has a reputation for being a really good shot stopper, helped in part by this one particular save, which I think is one of my favourite things a goalkeeper has ever done. But Raya, despite not having that reputation as a great shot stopper, is kind of probably one of the best shot stoppers in the league, certainly a better one than Ramsdale. Now, I will say it is incredibly difficult to prove that someone is a better shot stopper than someone else through numbers alone, because it's football and you can just see when someone makes a good save and when they should do better. But there is one little data point I think is quite telling. Now, these are their comparative numbers on FBref, and the first thing to look at is the save percentage. Now, while the actual percentages there don't look too different, it's only about 7 or 8% between them, that is an enormous jump in terms of actual goalkeeping. Raya's 77.7% actually makes him the top performing goalkeeper in the Premier League last year for percentage of shots saved. Now, Ramsdale's 70% is fine, don't get me wrong, but it's an average sort of score, puts him right bang in the middle of goalkeepers in the league. And that is a bit of a theme. But the really interesting one, and I'm just going to apologise in advance because this is just the most stupid deep maths thing you've ever heard, but I'll try and explain it properly, is this one, the post-shot XG minus goals against. Now, I know some people like XG and some people don't, but it is quite useful here, so just bear with me. Now, first of all, the post-shot XG measures the quality of the chance after it has been taken. Obviously, that factors in stuff like proximity to the goal, position of the goalkeeper, the defenders in the way, whether it's on a player's strong foot or their weak foot, how is it off the ground. It's supposed to just measure how good a chance that is. And obviously, over the course of the season, if you add all those up, you effectively get the number of goals a team should concede based on that model. And then when you take that number and you minus the actual number of goals that they did concede, you sort of get a picture of how much of a difference the goalkeeper made. Now, Ramsdale's, again, is perfectly average. It's bang in the middle. It's like minus 0.05. So over the course of a season, he will save pretty much the exact number of shots he should, maybe minus like 1. But Raya's number there is fantastic because it's a positive number, and 0.13 might strike you as absolutely nothing, but over the course of a season, that equates to 5, nearly 6 goals. Now, maybe those wind up being goals that don't really matter, or maybe they're the difference between getting a point and getting a victory, but the point is, Raya consistently overperforms what he should be doing if he was an average goalkeeper. And obviously, when you're trying to win things, when you're competing for the Premier League, having a goalkeeper that may 3 or 4 times a season completely bail you out when he really shouldn't is a huge difference maker. But the thing is, if you're sat there thinking that's actually kind of underwhelming, then you're right, it's not really a good enough reason to destabilise your established number one goalkeeper and then potentially destabilise your entire defensive unit as a result. So that is not why Arteta is getting Raya. It's not for his shot stopping, it is for his distribution. Ironically, for a man who is the manager of a football club literally named Arsenal, Mikel Arteta is obsessed with getting as many different ways to hurt the opposition as he possibly can, and he's happy to take risks to do that. Now, look at his transfers already this summer. He got rid of the stability and the consistency that Granit Xhaka offered and has replaced it with Kai Havertz, who brings an ability to arrive late in the box, who provides an extra goal threat. He's brought in Jurriën Timber, a player many people think isn't quite right physically for the Premier League, but is undoubtedly brilliant at carrying the ball forward either from centre-back or full-back. And he brought in Declan Rice, which might strike you as a very stable transfer to make, as someone who's going to make them a lot more solid, but look at how they've already been using him. He's doing that entire double pivot role all of himself, so by having him in there, you can commit an extra player forward in the midfield. All of these transfers risky in their own way, but the rewards, if they work, are pretty obvious. They'll lead to a lot more goals. And that, perversely, because obviously he's a goalkeeper, he's supposed to stop goals, is the thinking behind getting David Raya. He has a weapon in his locker which Arsenal currently do not have. And that weapon is his long kicking ability, either off the floor or out of his hands. He is probably the best in the Premier League at finding a teammate in really advanced areas of the pitch. He does it very quickly, he does it very decisively, and he does it very, very accurately, and it was one of Brentford's main weapons last season. If we again compare him to Ramsdale in terms of his ability to claim a cross, which, once again, Ramsdale very average at, not really a problem, but Raya exceptional at, he then gives Arsenal the ability to take a ball out of the air and set away a counter-attack. And if you think about it, taking a cross is a goalkeeper's best weapon for turning over possession. Like a save, you can palm it away, you can palm it out, you can get a corner out of it, it can rebound absolutely anywhere. Maybe you hold onto it and you just stay there because you need to make sure it's secure. But you take a cross, by simply doing that, you normally take at least one or two attackers straight out of the equation. You know they've got players in wide areas. The pitch is probably a lot more open. And what Raya then loves to do in that transition is find a player in an advanced area with a really long, accurate ball, and all of a sudden, they've got a really good counter-attacking opportunity. And it does work that, by the way. Brentford created something like 9 chances last season as a direct result of one of Raya's long kicks, and I think that's twice as many as any other Premier League team. Couldn't find the numbers for that anywhere, but I did definitely read it, so there you go. And that is something they currently cannot do with Aaron Ramsdale. Like, a short passing's fine, he gets involved in the build-up, he's perfectly competent at doing that, but once he has to go long, you can see here, his numbers for accuracy drop right off. And that is something that is so hard to do consistently well. Like, again, if we look at the numbers, the actual percentage itself isn't that much different. Raya's at 40 and Ramsdale's just over 25. But in goalkeeping terms, that's a huge gulf. But it does still represent a risk. Like, I've seen some people saying that, oh, he's a little bit more reliable than Ramsdale. He's less prone to an error. He's genuinely not. Ramsdale, of course, had this enormous clanger in a really crunch game against Southampton, and it stuck in everybody's head. But Raya is perfectly capable of doing the exact same thing with his short passing. Here he is doing it against Newcastle. The thing you have to keep in mind here is it is not an enormous upgrade across the board and that you are buying a much, much better goalkeeper. It is a marginal gain. And Arteta just loves a marginal gain. If he can see some way to just slightly improve the team, even if it incurs a risk in doing so, that's just his style as a manager. He'll do it. Like, you got to remember, this is a manager who just chucked Mesut Ozil on the scrap heap, who got rid of Aubameyang and Lacazette because he had younger players who he believed in and he needed to give them a pathway to get the game time that they needed. They were all big risks. They were established players who were fairly consistent performers, so just chucking them for exciting but ultimately unproven players could have massively backfired, but of course it didn't. Now, Arsenal fans will tell you that their plan A last season was amazing. It catapulted them right to the very cusp of one of the most improbable Premier League wins you've ever seen, but their plan B and their plan C and their plan D, these just didn't really ever work out for them, and there was a couple of really desperate games where they couldn't find a way through. So Arteta's priority this season is, what more can I add to give us more options in game? And that's what Havertz is about. That's what Raya is about. But as we've said, that is the potential reward, but it does not come without risk. Aaron Ramsdale is an established part of this Arsenal team. He's clearly well liked by his teammates, and we don't know whether or not Raya is going to come in and completely usurp him. We don't know if Arsenal are only doing this as a loan, just fiddle the books somehow, and it is actually pretty much guaranteed to go through. There's so much we don't know, and we won't find out until one of them just plays. But whatever, the bottom line is thus: Mikel Arteta thinks the risk of destabilising his back line and his goalkeeper is worth the potential reward of a few less goals conceded per season and the ability to launch rapid counter-attacks from the goalkeeper. And just one teeny tiny little thing that's getting forgotten in all of this, right? Raya's played pretty much his entire career in England. He was at Blackburn when he was like 16, I think, so he qualifies as a homegrown player for European competition. So Arsenal got to register their squad for the Champions League. He pretty much frees up an entire slot for someone who doesn't. Anyway, though, before I go, Fantasy Premier League, that's important, isn't it? We have a 4-4-2 league this season. The code is on screen now and will be in the description as well. We would dearly love to have as many of you as humanly possible in that, because there will be prizes. Prizes are as yet to be confirmed, but there will be prizes for the top performing players, so click the link, enter the code. Don't forget to do your team on Friday, because it's a Friday night game, not a Saturday, so don't forget. Other than than that though, if you did enjoy this video, please do consider clicking the subscribe button. It is the thing that really does help us out the most, because we can see the audience growing and we get to make loads more videos, and we love making all these videos. So if you do click that, that's very nice of you. You can also buy the latest issue of 442, the season preview one. That is in stores now. You can get me on Twitter at Adam Cleary, Clery, the 442 social handles. They are on screen. I don't know why I bother reading them out. They're there throughout the entire video. But until next time, thanks for watching. I've been Adam. I've already said that. I'm going to hit the camera. I'll see you soon. Bye.